This is a mass spectrum. Today we want to learn how a mass spectrum can be interpreted and how a mass spectrum can help us in knowing the structure of a molecule. Look at this mass spectrum carefully. It has a y-axis and an x-axis and having different peaks. What is this x-axis? This shows mass. What is the y-axis? This shows the abundance, the height, the intensity of each peak that we are getting here. Okay, now tell me, which is the tallest peak in this spectrum? Yes, this is the tallest peak. Tallest peak is always there in a mass spectrum. This is given the name base peak. Base peak. Base peak is the highest peak, the tallest peak. This is the peak that has 100% abundance. All other peaks are measured with respect to this peak. Okay, now next question. Which is the peak which has the highest mass? Highest mass in this spectrum? Yes, this is the peak. This peak is given the name molecular ion peak. Why it is given the name molecular ion peak? Because this peak is due to the molecular ion. What is a molecular ion? So when this molecule enters into the mass spectrometer, an electron hits it, and as a result, one electron is knocked out from it, and this becomes a radical cation. That radical cation is detected by the detector, and that radical cation is given the name molecular ion. And molecular ion will give us the peak. We call it the molecular ion peak. Now, this molecular ion, is it stable? No, it is not stable because it is an ion. It is not a neutral molecule. It is an ion, so it is not stable. When it is formed, it has a certain life, but it is not stable. Since it is not stable, what happens to it? It breaks up into different parts. This process is known as fragmentation. Fragmentation. So as a result of fragmentation, we obtain different ions. Those ions are detected by the detector in the mass spectrometer, and we get these peaks. These peaks are formed. Why this peak is the highest? Because this peak is the result of that cation which was most stable. Because that was most stable, that had a higher lifespan and was able to hit the detector most frequently, giving us the most abundant ions and so the most abundant peak. So this is the highest peak because of the most abundant cation formed due to fragmentation. How fragmentation occurs? When a molecular ion is formed, because that is not stable, it breaks up, and it breaks up at different bonds. So various bonds are there in a molecule. These bonds are broken. Which bond should be broken the most frequently? Definitely that bond which is the weakest and which can give us the most stable cation. And that most stable cation will give us the base peak. What happens when a methyl group is lost? A methyl group has the mass 15. So there will be a loss of 15. So when a methyl group is lost, we have a loss of 15 and we get M minus 15. So this peak at 71 of this molecule is because of the loss of one methyl group. That methyl group is lost as a radical, leaving behind a cation, this cation, and this cation is giving us this peak at 71. So when a ethyl group is lost, what happens? Ethyl group. So ethyl group has the mass equal to 29. When this group is lost, this is a loss of 29. So we will be getting a peak M minus 29. M minus 29 is a very, very important peak that is obtained very frequently. So as a result, we get this peak here in this particular spectrum. So what happens when a propyl group is lost? CH3, CH2, CH2. So this group will be lost. And as a result, we will be getting this cation. And this cation has the mass 43. And you will be having a peak at 43. What happens when a butyl group is lost? That butyl group may be lost as a radical or as a cation. When it is lost as a cation, we will be getting this peak at 29. It is M minus 57. M minus 57 peak at 29. But when 29 is lost, that is ethyl group is lost, so we get a peak at 57. So in this way, one by one, these bonds are broken. Whenever a bond is broken in a radical cation, what happens? One radical and one cation is formed, or one neutral molecule and one cation is formed. So there are different ways in which a bond can be broken in a molecule. And whenever the bond is broken in a way that we are getting a cation, that cation will be detected and we will get that peak in our mass spectrum. This is a mass spectrum of this molecule. And you can see the loss of methyl group. 121 minus 106, it is a loss of 15. So it means this methyl group is lost and we get this base peak. And it means that the remaining part is very stable, and that is why the peak at 106 is the most high peak with highest intensity. We also have a peak at 77. Now, look at this molecule and try to guess how this peak at 77 is obtained. What is the reason of this peak? If we carefully look at this molecule, we will see that this phenyl group has the mass 77. So whenever this bond is broken from here, we will be getting this cation, the phenyl cation, and this phenyl cation appears in a mass spectrum at 77. All those compounds where phenyl group is present, this is a very characteristic peak. Okay, my question. Which is the base peak in this mass spectrum? This one? No, it is this one, the tallest peak. Okay, which is the peak that is the molecular ion peak in this spectrum? This one, yes. Okay, now another point, a very important point. Look at the molecular ion peak mass. Is it even or odd? It is odd. So whenever the mass of the molecular ion is odd, it is an indication of a very important thing. Can you guess what is that very important thing? Yes, the presence of nitrogen. Whenever there is one nitrogen in a molecule or an odd number of nitrogens in a molecule, the molecular ion peak will be odd. And this is important. This is very, very important to understand and keep in mind. If you have a chlorine in a molecule, can we know the presence of chlorine by the mass spectrum? The answer is yes. In the mass spectrum, we will be having a peak, that is the molecular ion peak. We call it M, but we will also have a peak M plus 2, M plus 2. And there is a very, very important particular ratio. Okay, this peak is M and this is M plus 2, and you see their relative heights. If this peak is 9, then this M plus 2 will be 3. So this is their mutual ratios. If this is 75, this will be then 25. And it is because of the fact that chlorine has two important isotopes. The most abundant isotope is, that is the isotope 35. And chlorine 37 is the second isotope. And because of these isotopes, we have these peaks. So when this molecule with chlorine 35 will hit the detector in the form of radical cation, it will give us this peak. Another molecule which is not having chlorine 35 but having chlorine 37, that will hit the detector in the form of a radical cation, that will give us this peak. Okay, can you guess what is this peak and this peak in this spectrum? Okay, yes, this is the peak of a ion in which chlorine 35 is present. And this peak is because of the ion in which chlorine 37 is present. Here is the molecular ion peak, and the molecular ion has the mass that is odd. When this is odd, one nitrogen is present in the molecule, or any odd number of nitrogen is present in the molecule, the molecular ion peak will be odd. Generally, what happens, we have the fragments with even masses. Which is the base peak in this molecule? Yes, this is the base peak in this molecule. When your molecule has a sulfur atom, can we detect it through the mass spectrum? Yes, not very prominent, but it has a small M+2 peak. This M+2 peak is almost 4% of this M peak, and it is a characteristic peak on the basis of which you can detect the presence of sulfur in your molecule. Okay, look at this. Which is the base peak in this molecule? This one. Which is the molecular ion peak in this spectrum? This one. Okay, a very important spectrum. Look at this molecule carefully. This molecule has a bromine. Now look at this spectrum. What do you see? You see a peak that is M, but you also see a peak M+2. Why we have these two peaks? Because this molecule has bromine, and bromine has two isotopes. Suppose you have 100 molecules in your sample. Out of 100 molecules, almost how many molecules will be there with bromine 79? Yes, almost 50. So 50 molecules will be having bromine with 79, and the remaining 50 molecules will have bromine, that is the isotope 81 bromine. So when these molecules will become radical cations and will be detected, they will give their molecular ion peaks. So you will be getting two peaks. One is the M and the other one is M+2. The molecule with the bromine isotope with lower mass is called M. And the peak that is the result of that molecular ion that is having higher isotope of bromine, that is given the name M+2. So how can you know whether your molecule has bromine or not? Simple. Put that molecule in your mass spectrometer and get a mass spectrum, and then look at the molecular ion peak. If you have a molecular ion peak and a M+2 peak with the heights almost equal, so this is an indication of the presence of bromine in your molecule. Can you tell me the reason of this peak? 77. It is bromobenzene. When bromine is lost, leaving behind phenyl. And this 77 is because of phenyl cation, which is the base peak in this spectrum, the peak at 77. Why it is so? Because in bromobenzene, the weakest bond is carbon-bromine bond. When bromine is lost, leaving behind this peak, that is 77. Okay, What is happening here? What is this thing? Yes, this is radical cation. It is having an odd electron somewhere, but also a positive charge. Is this radical cation is stable? No, it is not stable. Because it is not stable, then what should it do? And what does it do? It breaks up. What is the name given to this breaking? Fragmentation. So this molecule undergoes fragmentation. Fragmentation. What happens in fragmentation? Different bonds are broken, and as a result, we get different fragments. How these fragments are in their structure? Maybe a fragment is cation or a radical. Radical is not detected. Cation is detected. Radical is not detected. Cations are detected. Okay, bromine may come as a cation, but it may also come as a radical. So it is not detected. So this is important that when a radical cation is formed, it breaks up, different bonds are broken. This is the fragmentation process. Suppose your molecule has an alkane, carbon-carbon bond will be broken. Carbon-hydrogen bond may also be broken, but mostly it is the carbon-carbon bond that is broken. What happens when your molecule is an alcohol? When your molecule is an alcohol, what happens? Loss of water molecule. What is the molecular mass of water? 18. So there will be a loss of 18. What other thing can happen when your molecule is an alcohol? Alpha cleavage can occur. So there will be loss of this part or this part. It is the chance that this is a carbocation because that will be stabilized by resonance. What happens when your molecule is an alkene? A very frequent fragmentation is that giving you an allylic cation. Allylic cation is stabilized because of this resonance. So it is very abundant. What happens when you have an aromatic ring? If there is an aromatic ring and a CH2 group, bond will be broken from here. Why? Because this will give you a benzylic cation, which is very stable because of resonance. Even this benzylic cation changes into another form that is more stable. This is known as tropylium ion. Tropylium ion. Tropylium ion. This is very stable. Okay. What happens? What happens when your molecule has nitrogen? How the molecule will break up? This is a very, very frequent breakage. Adjacent bond is broken up. And when this adjacent bond is broken up, we get this cation. And this cation is resonance stabilized. And the name given to it is iminium ion, iminium ion. Okay, now look at this. What happens when your molecule is an ether? So bond can be broken from here. Why? Because this cation will be resonance stabilized. It may also be broken in a way that you are getting a carbocation, that is alkyl cation. Or it may be broken from here, giving you alpha cleavage, and this cation, that is resonance stabilized. What happens if your molecule is an aldehyde or ketone? Yes, this bond is broken. Why? Because resulting in the formation of this carbocation, which is resonance stabilized. This is given the name acylium ion. So this, if the charge is on the carbon, and then we are getting a carbocation, and that is undergoing resonance, forming this acylium ion. Acylium ion, very stable because of resonance. Now look at this, a very special case. Here in this molecule, you are having a carbonyl carbon, and then a long chain, and at carbon gamma, you have a hydrogen. If there is such a situation, okay, this is a very special case. Look at it carefully. You have alpha carbon, beta carbon, and gamma carbon. Okay, and if in a carbonyl compound, maybe aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, or ester, you have a alpha, beta, and gamma carbons, and at gamma carbon you have a hydrogen. Then this molecule will undergo a very special fragmentation, and that fragmentation is known as McLafferty rearrangement, because in it a rearrangement occurs. What is that rearrangement? A H from gamma carbon shifts to carbonyl oxygen, and this molecule breaks up from here. As a result, you will be getting this part as an alkene, and this part as a cation, a radical cation actually, and this radical cation will give you a peak in your mass spectrum. Okay, and this is McLafferty rearrangement. So this is how we have learned what is a mass spectrum, what are the different features of a mass spectrum, what are the different types of peaks in a mass spectrum, and how those peaks are formed. What is a molecular ion? What is a molecular ion peak? What is the base peak? And how different peaks are formed? What is the fragmentation process? Loss of methyl group, loss of a ethyl group, loss of water molecule, loss of a phenyl cation, McLafferty rearrangement. Thank you.